Hello and welcome to Too Candid. In today's episode, I've actually found some unpopular opinions, so we're going to discuss, see if we think they're unpopular, maybe we agree, and then they will be popular.
And I know what everyone's thinking. Oh my God, Leah's planned an episode.
Wow.
It happens, people.
Well, do you know what, Sophie? I'm also running another YouTube channel, okay? So I am sorry that I don't have time to plan, okay?
We know she's just not using her imagination how she should. Anyway, let's go on with the episode.
Toxic sisters. That's what's going to be. Okay, so for this unpopular opinion, it says, F you if you record yourself giving things to homeless people. You see it all over the internet these days. People recording themselves giving food or money or whatever to homeless people. All it is for these people to get a personal boost, a way to get views on the internet and make themselves feel important. I think these actions should be shot down or not praised and receive 10 million video views. If you're really this good of a person you claim to be, you would give it to the homeless, give it to shelters, help people, not tell anyone else about it. It's that simple.
Oof.
I know what you're going to say already.
I can fully understand where this person is coming from. But at the end of the day, like, they are going to have to get that person's consent to put the video up.
But do they all? We don't actually know if they do.
So realistically, they should get that person's consent. There is tons of people out there that do donate to charity, who don't even make a big song and dance about it, and they always get like hate online. For example, Trisha Paytas, right? She's a very controversial person. Yes, she's done bad things. Yes, she's done good things. But someone called her out on not donating to charity or something like that. And she actually came with receipts and was like, well, actually, I donate this much a month to give so many people. I think it was like 250 or something like that meals. And that's things that people don't even see. And, you know, I think you are at a loss either way. You're going to be judged by someone. Okay, yeah, I do think that people should donate to people without having to do a video about it. But on the other foot, it might then motivate the younger generation to do some good and see that actually they should be doing stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, to be honest, the whole like Trisha Paytas like comparison. I mean, I looked into some of the stuff that she's done in the past. So I actually don't. I can't. Like, she's not someone I'd watch. Is what I'm trying to say in the nicest way. But it's a bit different because a lot of the time it's normal people filming themselves. Whereas obviously if you're like, I don't know, famous already, then people are going to pick you and they'll be like, oh, you're not donating it to charity. Or they'll be like, oh, you are, but you're only doing it to get like a tax break. Do you know what I mean? But like just an everyday person, me or you, we film ourselves put on the internet. Are we doing it because we want to help them, or are we doing it because we're like, oh, this will get so many views?
If anyone's watching this on YouTube, my dog has joined this. He wants to cuddle me and he won't stop destroying stuff until I do. So that's why he is currently laying on my lap. But there are tons of TikTok accounts out there that their brand is solely them doing good. And obviously people like to watch that stuff. There are tons of people that actually have like GoFundMes. And what they do is people put money in and then they go and give that money to people and they film it. So some people's whole brand is doing that.
Yeah, no, to be fair, I feel like I do get what people were saying because there was people that were, I think, doing it to kind of help and show and spread positivity. But then it's like, are people jumping on the bandwagon? But then at the same time, I guess, even if they are jumping on the bandwagon, they are feeding somebody. Whether or not it comes from a good place or not, they are still feeding someone.
But I can see both sides. Like, I do think, yeah, you should just do that to help. But at the end of the day, as long as people are consenting to their video going up there, then I don't like. I'm just glad that people are getting meals and food and shelter. Do you know what I mean?
And I guess, like, obviously a famous version of this is Mr. Beast. And I mean, I love actually watching his videos because he does spend a lot of money, time, creativeness doing it. And you can tell that he is so kind because he just gives that money away like it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's like his videos are generating money, but then he's giving a lot of it away. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you don't mind watching him because you know that he's going to then move that money forward and give it to someone else.
And that's the thing. People will be so quick to judge someone like, I don't know, you and I doing it as compared to someone like Mr. Beast doing it. And that's why I just think you are going to be, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And I know you said about Trisha Paytas that I agree, like, she has done some fucked up shit. but that's someone calling her out for not doing enough when she does. But then if she was going to show people she was doing that, people are like, oh, you're just doing it for the views. So I think like trolls play a big part in that, but I can understand why that's his unpopular opinion as well.
Yeah. But then it's just one of those things, isn't it? I feel like a lot of the time, some of the people that might be complaining might not even be donating themselves.
Exactly.
Then you have to think like, okay, but are we all just doing enough as people?
But I actually like watching those videos because I'm like, I can see the younger generation getting like very like passing the good forward. What is it called?
Just passing it forward.
Passing it forward. Like I think that's a really lovely thing. And do you know what? Like we're in a social media age now, and yeah, some people build their whole content on giving stuff away, and that's okay as long as there's consent from everyone. Then I'm fine with it.
I can see where this person is coming from though, because obviously if you feel like someone's not coming from like a genuine, like if they don't have a genuine intention, yeah, then it could probably like annoy you a bit. But what we have to remember, if they are doing some good, then that is some good. Do you know what I mean? It's something that they wouldn't have done before.
Exactly, 100%.
Okay, next unpopular opinion. There's absolutely no goddamn reason why you should have 10 kids. Unless you're adopting them, there's no reason why you should have 10 kids, especially if you're struggling with your other kids. Just absolutely no reason why. 4 kids biological should be the maximum, and even then that's pushing it.
Wow, someone is very butthurt. I don't think you could ever, as long as those kids that they are birthing and bringing into the world are being looked after, healthy, being fed, then your opinion doesn't matter. Again, if, you know, relationships are struggling with the other kids and stuff, then maybe they should think about it. But some people just enjoy being pregnant and having a big family. Some people, all they want is a big family.
Yeah, but like to play devil's advocate, yeah, I can see what he means, because you can't give 10 different children the attention that you could give 4 children. Because like, yeah, I get what you're saying. 4 children is a lot. Imagine trying to split your time with them, making sure all their needs are met and they feel like they're spending enough time with you. Now imagine 10 children. That is a lot.
He said if they're adopted, fine, but if they're not, so if they're actually, biological, then that's not okay. Well, it can't be either way. What they are saying.
I think what he's saying is because there's so many children in the world already that need homes, do you know what I mean? Then fair enough, you're going to help them because, do you know what I mean? You're helping them. But, do you know what's really interesting? I don't know why it became like it came on my suggestions on YouTube, but there was this mum who's got 10 children and she literally films herself in her kitchen getting ready. She gets up at 5 a.m. and she meal prepped their dinner, lunch and breakfast at 5 a.m. and it took her 50 minutes. I can't even make my own dinner in 50 minutes. And she did 10 children. 10 children. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's up to that individual because it does take a lot of work and organisation. I definitely couldn't and wouldn't want to have that many children. But I can see where he's coming from. But I don't think you should tell someone how many children they can have. But as a child, yeah, I think it's nice to have siblings. But would I want 9 other siblings?
Well, we only know 3 other siblings, so you probably wouldn't want 9 other siblings.
Yeah, well, obviously. I just think it's a lot. But big families could be cool. But the person that actually posted this said they actually come from a big family themselves.
Oh, so it's coming from a resentment instead of a, like, looking on.
Yeah.
I can understand that, but I just think that there's always someone who has an opinion on something, and I know we're on unpopular opinions, but I don't think you could say, oh, I think there should be a cap on 4 children, because there's other places that have a lower cap, and look how that's ended up. I don't think you should. Do you know what I'm referring to, Leah?
Yes.
The one-child policy.
Yeah. But 10 children is a lot.
Yeah, it is. Like, I personally would never want 10 children, because I don't think I have, like you said, the mental capacity, the organisation, and I'm very organised. I don't think I could spread myself that thin, because I would end up cracking and, you know, like you said, not giving the full attention and like needs. Like, I want 2 or 3 to 10. Like, I'm scared to get pregnant anyway and carry a child. Like, I have a proper fear about it. So the thought of doing it 10 times.
Oh yeah, but if you've done it 10 times,
they just fall out.
No, I was gonna say there must be no fear there anymore, but you know, Okay, you ready for the next one?
Ready?
This one's just a silly one, but I thought I'd throw in there. Being too cold is way better than being too warm.
Oh, are we going
I could actually go into the story, but he's basically just saying about he doesn't mean absolutely freezing or sizzling climates, just mildly warmer or colder weather than normal.
What? He has an opinion on the weather. I don't even, like, to be fair.
But can I just say, this got 54,000 upvotes.
Oh my goodness.
So, like, people were invested in this.
I would rather be too cold if I could warm myself up, if that was part of this scenario. Like, I think it's always easier to warm yourself up than it is to cool yourself down. Like, as soon as it gets to summer, everyone wants a summer, then complains about the weather. Do you know what I mean?
I don't. I love it. I'd rather be too hot, because then I'm wearing dresses, I'm wearing skirts, I'm wearing crop tops, I'm wearing bikinis.
But you're sweating.
Do you know what? For when summer comes, yeah, this is a great tip for people. What I do, I get in the shower, but I don't dry myself off. And then I lie down in bed, I have the fan on, and the fan with the water keeps you really cool. And then if you can't fall asleep quick enough, I have a spray bottle, mist spray bottle, and I spray myself loads with cold water. The fan hits me, I feel a bit chilly, I fall asleep.
Okay.
I love summer. I love summer.
No, see, to be fair, I am a cold person anyway. Like, I'm always cold. My hands are cold, my feet are cold. Like, yesterday it was really hot weather, Leah, weren't it? I was on a work call and I had a hot water bottle and they all laughed at me that I had a hot water bottle. But I was genuinely freezing. Like, my feet now are freezing. But then when it gets too hot, I can't sleep. And oh my God, I just the whole sweatiness. No, I think I'd rather be too cold. But I don't know.
You're so on the fence.
I don't know. I'm like, I just don't understand how someone has put this on a forum and like 54,000 people have said like, yes, it's the weather, and everyone complains. Do you know what makes me laugh though? Whenever you go somewhere and you know someone's struggling to talk about anything, they're like, oh, have you seen the weather recently? Oh my God, the rain, couldn't hang out my washing. Like, the weather is people's go-to, like.
And do you know what? I feel like it's different, isn't it? Because when you have a hot summer in England, it's like very muggy, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're going to go away, you're loving that sun. So it's like the difference. But I love the sun regardless.
This was so riveting, Leah. I was so excited to talk about the weather. I'm so glad our podcast is at that point.
Unpopular opinion number whatever. We should let some dog breeds die out. I'm talking the ones that have been bred to an early grave with deformed features and problems that make them suffer their whole life. With breathing problems, walking problems, brains that are too big for their craniums, like pugs, King Charles Spaniels, Bulldogs, Great Danes and others. Some might be saved by crossbreeding and a complete change to the breed standard, but we shouldn't go on like we are now.
I agree with this one. And there's a whole thing at the moment, isn't it? Like a whole like an online petition to actually let the pug breed and that die out. But they are what it is. If it was done safely and correctly by, licensed, authorised breeders who have a history in it and they know what they're doing. But the issue is there's so many people who just buy 2 dogs, let them breed, and they're being irresponsible with it. And yeah, so in a way I do agree.
That's the thing. I feel like, can that really be an unpopular opinion? But I do see people like on Facebook and Instagram having pugs and stuff like that. And like, I keep my opinions to myself because it's not me to like put that on them. But I do think it is wrong because you can hear their breathing issues and like a lot of them have to have certain surgeries just so they can breathe.
It's like
yeah. And like if you actually look, I think there was like, did you see on Facebook there's like scans where it showed what it used to be like. It's like this massive hole or something, and then like now it's like this tiny little hole.
Yeah, for some reason, like the whole flat-faced dog people wanted, but obviously the whole pug obsession really came from Men in Black. That's where the whole breed really got its popularity. And just like 101 Dalmatians, there is still so many Dalmatians that are overbred because of that film. And people want them, but obviously Dalmatians are certain breeds, you have certain like ways of looking after them. But yeah, that's why there's tons of like actual special Dalmatian like rehoming places, because I was looking into getting one, but it was because of like 101 Dalmatians and Men in Black.
I didn't even think of that, to be honest, what that must do. But as well, I know with like teacup chihuahuas, like when he said about their like craniums being too big or whatever, like that's what it reminded me of, because those teacup chihuahuas, you can see like their eyes are bulging out, like it is cruel. Like,
But was that from Legally Blonde?
oh my God, probably.
Honestly, that the trends that like I do think the industry should take some responsibility of what breeds that they put out there, because a lot of it stems from, oh, this is trendy right now, we're gonna do it. But do you remember I got attacked by a King Charles Spaniel?
Yeah, but that's not because he was a King Charles Spaniel.
I know, but I just felt like it was relevant to say, because you said King Charles Spaniel, and I actually got, when I was, 9, 10, I have a backwards J scar on my chest from a King Charles Spaniel attack.
Thank you for that information. Right, moving on to the next one, okay? And this one I actually agree with, but no one else probably will, but I'm on their side.
Did you write this?
This was me. Right. Horse owners should pick up their crap just like dog owners have to. I don't care how big that bag would be. Just hang it onto the horse saddle somewhere. I absolutely hate going around those piles of crap while riding a bike somewhere. And someone I used to work with had a horse, or has one, and I would say to her all the time, like, why don't they pick up a horse poo? Because I get it, yeah? If dog owners didn't have to, there's so many dogs that everywhere would just be covered. But the horse poos are massive.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that horse poo should be picked up because it's massive. There's always loads of flies around it and it smells really bad. And there's nothing worse when you're driving along and you see a big horse poo and you can't avoid it, and then your tyres are covered in horse shit. I agree. Don't get me wrong though, I don't know how logistically how they'll be able to do that, because they'd have to get off every time, get a shovel, get the bag, put it in. But I do agree that they should take some responsibility for picking up their horse poop.
I suppose that horses do poop as they walk, don't they? So maybe like you don't realise your horse is pooed unless you can feel their tail. I don't know. But I just know I actually haven't noticed it while I've been driving, but I noticed it while I'm on a walk. And I think that makes it worse. And you're like, oh, for God's sake, I don't want to see a massive pile of crap.
But isn't horse poo kind of good for the environment?
Well, why would dog poo not be?
I don't know.
It all gets like trodden into.
I don't know.
So I'm not saying dog owners shouldn't pick up their poo. I'm just saying horse people should. Oh, someone said Christmas horse parade we go to has a guy on rollerblades with a snow shovel acting as the follow along cleanup crew. He wears towels on a top hat and is followed by a golf cart with a barrel attached, driven by a guy in an elf costume.
You just put like a bag attached to the horse's bum.
Oh, someone said that manure catchers that horses can wear, their poop is contained and no one has to stop to clean it.
There we go. That was what I just said.
Okay, this is a good one. You ready? If you don't want to donate your organs after you die, you shouldn't be allowed to receive donated organs. The only exception is if you cannot donate an organ for medical reasons. I've heard people say they would accept a donated organ, but they wouldn't be happy to donate one, which is the height of selfishness, in my opinion. Letting people die so that a dead religious person can keep their organs, which will be cremated or buried, is insane.
Absolutely agree. I do think that if you are willing to accept an organ, you should have to give an organ. But I don't know why what I don't understand is, right, so when I die, I am donating pretty much everything. I can't remember what I ticked, but not my skin. That just freaks me out. But my friend said to me, like, why, like, do you feel comfortable donating your eyes? And I was like, but if I could give the opportunity for someone to see again and see their family and live their life, why would I not want to do that? And yeah, it's hypocritical for someone to be like, it's like a Scrooge thing, isn't it? Like, I'm wanting to take it, but you can't have mine.
Yeah. And I'm kind of got a similar thing in the way of receiving blood as well. Because I feel like if you would take somebody's blood, you need to kind of contribute and pay that forward to do for someone else what someone did for you. And I actually need to get onto I've been saying it to you for years now, actually. I need to actually do it. I want to donate blood.
Yeah, because I donate blood. Because I've got rare blood. I'm at A system.
Okay, here you go.
I'm on the bone marrow list. I wanted to do platelets, but I wasn't allowed. And I'm on the organ donor list. But when you receive a blood donation, though, you can't actually give blood after a certain amount of time or something like that. And especially if you've like been out the country, or I think if you've had if you've had a baby within the year, or if you've had tattoo and piercing, you can't until like a certain period has passed. But yeah, I agree. I think if you're like going to take a blood transfusion, then you should also be willing to give blood, because in some religions they don't agree with blood donation. And I don't know this person, but I know of someone that knows someone, I'm just trying to be very vague with this, who had something wrong with them when they were younger, and they would have been okay if they had a blood transfusion, but because of their religion they said no, like they are not allowed to have that blood transfusion, and now they're in a wheelchair.
Okay, well, trust Sophie to always bring it down. Moving on to the next one. This is, like, I've honestly got such a variety. We're going to go in a completely different direction. When people try to pet/interact with wild animals and get killed, the animals should not be euthanized. I just heard a news report about a woman who tried to pet an alligator and was killed. Game officials went on to kill it after the incident. Why? The alligator was doing its job. Same thing happened with, was it Harambe? If you can't watch your kid at a freaking zoo, or you're 58 years old and think that it's okay to pet a wild animal, you have what's coming to you.
I agree. I don't think the animals should be euthanized. When I read about that, oh my God, especially Harambe, oh.
But what doesn't make sense to me, like, an alligator will kill whatever's there. So I know, like, they say with dogs, like, if they bite someone, you've got to put them down because it's in their instinct. It's always going to be in an alligator's instinct, do you know what I mean? And with that whole Harambe thing, like, he didn't actually hurt the child, did he? And what I don't get is he's never meant to have human interaction. He would always be in a zoo, so technically that accident would never happen again. But he didn't even hurt the child, so why would you kill them?
I don't remember fully the story. I don't know if they had to do that to get to the child. I don't
maybe.
like. I don't know if he wasn't.
There's tranquilizers though.
Yeah, but tranquilizers take a certain amount of time to work, and I think that was their argument. But like this alligator one, like, who thinks, yeah, I'm just gonna go pet an alligator and like he's not gonna hurt me? Maybe she was trying to film it for something, but yeah, I don't agree. Also though, if the alligator ate them, I think they then kill them to get the person out. I think that's normally why. But yeah, I don't agree with animals being euthanized after they...
But then, do you agree with dogs being euthanized after they attack, like, a child or...
That's a difficult one.
Because I think there is statistics, though, isn't there, that once they, like, start biting, they do continue to bite. But interestingly enough, there was... I think it was it early this year or end of last year? There was this dog trainer who took in dogs that had... What's the word?
But they were on like death row, like they were.
Yeah. And he would take them on and rehabilitate them. And he was like successful at it until one of the dogs did kill him. And he died. He had children.
Shut up.
Yeah, I think the children lost their mum a couple of years before that from cancer or something like that. And then he was training these dogs, and then one of the dogs actually killed him.
Oh my God, I need to look that up.
Yeah, I Googled it before, and yeah, it's really sad. Okay, the next one. Asking your partner to marry you in front of hundreds of strangers is an emotional blackmail. It's a dick move to ask someone to marry you, for example, during a sport game, on a jumbo screen where thousands and thousands of people are staring at you, expecting for you to say yes.
Whoa. I think if that person has expressed the opinion that they wouldn't care where they got proposed to, and, you know, that they would be fine with it being in a big crowd, then... okay, but a lot of people don't actually want that. You know, like loads of people get proposed to with that shot at Disneyland where they're like in the foreground and then the castle's in the background. Like, I would not like that at all. Like, I wouldn't. But when you say about sports ground at Leighton Orient, someone got proposed to on the ground during half time and everyone was chanting, "Don't do it." Yeah, I wasn't there. James was there. But like, I don't know why you'd want to take such a special moment and do it in front of everyone. And it is kind of like emotional blackmail if they are not on that same level. But I feel like for you to get to the point of proposing, you kind of spoke about it already, been on the same level.
Some people don't though. Some people don't discuss it before they do it.
Well, in that case, then, yeah, I think it's emotional blackmail.
Well, I do. Yeah, I wouldn't like it. I would be too embarrassed. I wouldn't like it.
No, so when we planned Leah's proposal was in front of cows. To be fair, we can only row so far on that boat up the river, and there were so many people around. We were like, she won't like this, and we were trying to row, but that's a different.
And you can't really get down on one knee on a boat either.
No, but yeah, I think there's so many different places where you can propose, being in front of everyone. Like, it's nice when people's there to take photos and videos and stuff like that. But yeah, I do.
It's too much.
It's too much, and like that person, regardless if they want to say yes, would feel like they'd have to say yes.
Yeah. Oh my god, the pressure. They'd be like yes, and then you get in the car. It's a no.
Thought about it. It's a big fat no from me.
Okay, this one completely different again. News channels shouldn't be allowed to turn off comments or likes and dislikes on YouTube. I'm sick of seeing the comments of anything slightly controversial to be turned off. If you're going to post the news stories, at least let people share their opinions on the story. I want to see what people think. I want to share my opinions. And I want to like or dislike the video. There's no point posting otherwise.
I agree, because the amount of times I see news things and I'm like, oh, what did people comments turn off? And I'm like, what? Why? It's annoying. I agree.
But why? Why do they do it?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
I don't know. I can't answer that. I can maybe Google it to see if they say why.
It's freedom of speech, man. Do you know what it is? Because they probably wouldn't want anything controversial to be said, and no one is going to go through and like moderate those comments.
No.
It ain't going to happen.
No, probably. Because you've got to think as well that everyone actually has an opinion on everything. And sometimes I do believe that the news controls a lot of people.
Of course.
And it is very contrived, and it's just another way of them doing that. But what annoys me, the Daily Mail in general, but the Daily Mail always leaves their comments on. And if you read them, oh my God, it's just full of trolls. And I just go down and I'm like downvoting or upvoting if I get bored and I can't sleep. But yeah, like the Daily Mail is just terrible in general, to be fair. But yeah, I hate it, especially when like all the news reporters were reporting on the Will Smith thing, and I wanted to see what people were saying, and I had to go to TikTok to look at the comments on people's TikToks to kind of like get the vibe of what was going on.
That's the thing, like when I literally see the little clips on YouTube, it's so frustrating. I want to know. Because, yeah, there could be some very well-educated people that actually comment, and do you know what I mean? You might believe what they're saying, but then actually when you read the comment, you're like, actually, this person sounds like they know what they're talking about. Do you know what I mean?
Especially when they don't give you all the information, and then like if you watch like a clip from a couple of years ago and someone like, there's always some nice person in the YouTube comment telling you about something else linked to it, and you're like, makes sense. And I think that's just why YouTube channels that report stuff that aren't news do so well, because they allow people to discuss it. And oh my God, we don't get a lot of comments on our videos at the moment, but like I love reading those comments. I would never switch them off.
How are you going to learn? Like, people learn by listening to loads of different people's opinions. You know what I mean? Next one, completely different. See, I'm keeping you on your toes. You don't know what's coming next.
Yeah, but I'm kind of agreeing with all these unpopular opinions. So am I an unpopular opinion?
I wish more movies would end with the villain winning or the disaster of the plot occurring. The title pretty much says it all. I'm all for the hero good guys winning and disasters being averted. But it's like every single time and it gets old. Let's spice shit up.
So I was actually reading into this before, because there is actually films and TV shows and stuff like that. They all have like there is a certain blueprint that they all follow, which is why there's always like the popular person with the quirky friend, or there's always like a sidekick, or like just random people like that. But it's always the same. But people like that shit. There is a film with Zooey Deschanel and like 500 Days of Summer, and when I watched that film, I did not like the ending because it wasn't what I expected. And I think that's what it is. Like, people are used to like the good person winning, and they're used to like, that's what people love. I can understand about, you know, they want to see the bad stuff, but I just don't think it would sell as well. And that's why, you know, you have the horror genre for that, for like the bad stuff, but in terms of like normal TV, people like a nice ending.
And actually, what I was going to say is, sorry to spoil this for anyone that's not seen it, but what's that one on Netflix with Leonardo DiCaprio and Ariana Grande about the world ending?
Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up. Right, don't listen if you want to watch that and you have not watched it yet. I watched it. I show how confident I was that it was all going to work out in the end, and it bloody didn't. And afterwards, I felt really horrible.
That's the thing. movies and shows that sell make the person watching it feel good.
It's supposed to be an escape, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you're going to watch stuff that isn't going to give that feeling to you. But, for example, Top Boy, Leah. Yeah, Top Boy, if anyone's seen it or haven't, I'm sorry.
Brilliant series.
But at the end, when he goes in and shoots Jamie in the head, no one expected that. We wanted them to end happily together, and they didn't. And I didn't like that.
But the thing is with Top Boy, yeah, they're trying to give like a realistic perspective of what everyday life is like, especially, you know, in gangs in London and stuff like that. And horrible crap like that happens all the time. It's not fairy tales. People have like their family members shot and stuff like that.
And that's why people like to watch movies that have a good ending, because it makes you feel nice. I didn't really like Don't Look Up for that reason.
Do you know what? Don't Look Up, I really thought. And it was, do you know what? It was so frustrating. But I see what they did there, because no, they were going onto the news and they were saying this is happening and no one was taking them seriously. And you just think, oh my God, the world is deluded. Why is no one listening? Like, we know all this information and everyone's just like living their life. Like, but it's so, nah, honestly.
Have you seen though? I don't know if it's a conspiracy. I'm just highlighting it as such because if anyone listens to this, I don't want you to take it for my word, because I don't know. It's just stuff that I've seen on TikTok. But because it's not really put in the news.
Sophie, I'm going to ban you from saying I saw this on TikTok.
But at the moment there is this whole crisis about the world, and there's all these scientists coming out saying we're trying to tell the government to not like get any more fossil fuel and all this stuff, and they're like super gluing them stuff to big buildings, but that's not really reported on in the news. But I saw that on TikTok.
I don't know, but like it's actually interesting because I think it's Shell, the fuel company. There's this petition I saw on like the .org, so it is an actual proper petition. I didn't hear about it in the news. They're planning to drill like. I'm not a scientist, I don't know the actual words, but I basically know like the bottom of a part of the ocean to like extract some stuff, but the drilling would have to be for like 23 hours a day. It's ridiculously loud, and like all the wows and stuff, obviously their hearing is insane, and they're going to be subjected to that if the petitions don't get put out there.
See, that's so bad. That should not be allowed. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, I just think like, one, we don't even hear about those. Like, I just saw that petition by chance.
Well, I didn't hear about.
The greedy just gets greedier, and like I just think like, how can people be that far gone that they care that much about money that they're like don't even want to look after the wows? So the very last one, the show Friends is painfully unfunny and is the most overrated thing ever. Every time this damn show comes on, I change the channel immediately. It's just so horribly unfunny, and the laugh tracks after every single line is just the worst thing ever. I can't put into words how much I hate this show, and 66% of people agreed.
See, right, I know a few people that don't like Friends, and I just don't understand that. I think Friends, even like 20 years down the line, it's still so relatable to people. It was Friends, okay, yeah, she wouldn't be able to afford that place in, New York and stuff like that. But in terms of like the Friends being in like 26 when it started, and they all didn't have their life together, and all that stuff, like it makes people feel better that it was put on screen for so long, of people having like, I love Friends. How could anyone?
Do you know what it is? Like, in terms of character development, like, they all had such individual characters and they played them all so well. They were all so different. And like you said, it's like 6 different friends, all their different perspectives and stuff. But I get what they're saying to a degree, because it's really weird. We obviously grew up watching Friends. I never noticed the laugh track. Like, I know it's subliminal, isn't it? So it makes you laugh because there's a laugh track. And I don't know how I didn't hear it, because it's so obvious. But then when I noticed it, it did start getting on my nerves, because I was like, they're really playing it every 2 seconds, even when it's not funny.
But it was shown in front of a live audience, wasn't it? Like The Big Bang Theory. It was in front of a live audience.
Oh, but yeah, I know some were actually filmed in a live audience. I wonder if they all were or not.
I don't know, but I can't imagine them telling the people in the audience not to laugh because we're going to put a track over it.
But maybe that's what. Oh.
I think people, I don't know if people say they don't like Friends just to be like different, like, oh, I don't like Friends. You know how there's someone that's like that. I just think it's so easy to watch. It's funny, it's relatable. I'm just like Monica from Friends. If anyone knows me, they'll agree with that. James even said it in his wedding speech. I can't help it. I did a personality test the other day because Steph sent it to me and I did it. And then she Googled what person also has that personality trait, and it was Monica from Friends. And I was like, oh no. But I know, I love it. I don't agree with that. It is an unpopular opinion, in my opinion.
Yeah, I see where they're coming from, but I just think there has to be a reason that it was going for as long as it went for. And the fact it's still shown on TV to this day.
And the fact that people were begging for like reboots. As much as I would have loved a reboot, I don't think reboots do as well as the original. And I think it could have gone on for longer.
Yeah.
But I don't think they could do a reboot now and it would have the same popularity, because people always look at Gavin and Stacey. Like, the first couple series, great. I know they did that other Christmas special that people loved, and now they're going to bring it back again. But I don't know if I loved that just as much as I did the original.
But I think with Friends as well, it's been such a long time. I think they've left it too long. If they were going to do it, they should have done it quite a few years ago. But they all look very different now as well. So I feel like it'll just be... But it would be interesting to see if they could actually bring that back.
Yeah, I think, though, with the... obviously, Matthew Perry... He obviously got the short end of the stick for a lot, and obviously all the issues, and it came out that he wasn't really supported by the cast and all that stuff, with his addiction. And I think if I was to watch it now, I'd just always have that at the back of my head, that they were... I think there was this illusion, because in that the reunion that they did, and they said that they went to Las Vegas and they were like, yeah, this is the last time that you're not going to be known, and they kind of experienced it all together. So they did actually feel like actual friends, whereas I think now, where they've all moved on, gone their separate ways, some are still close to others, I do think that, I don't know, in my head, maybe it's just me, I'd be like, I know you're not actual friends.
Yeah, but to be honest, I kind of do want to see it, but it's like if they do it and it flops, it'll kind of tame it, won't it?
But yeah, I think your opinion belongs in the toilet on that one, I'm afraid.
Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time for 2
Candid.
Bye.
Bye.